This is the 11th and 12th Medieval History in the voice of Magister Corbin Harteloch. Very well, let us begin. By my troth, if I must recount the life of yet another duke who spent half his years quarreling over titles, then so be it. Today's subject is Duke Waleran II of Limburg, born around 1085, though naturally the chroniclers could not agree on the precise year. They rarely do. You future folk told me that his descendants will matter greatly in centuries to come, though you refuse to say how. I suppose that is meant to motivate me. Duke Waleran was the son of Henry, Duke of Limburg, and Adelheid of Pottenstein, a lady of respectable lineage. Through her, he traced descent to the House of Arden-Verdun, and further back to figures such as Aribo of Bavaria and Hartwig, men of some consequence in their day. The genealogies of this period are a tangled skein, and I have spent more hours than I care to admit trying to determine which chronicler miscopied which ancestor, but the general wheel of his lineage is clear enough. Waleran's fortunes improved markedly with the accession of Lothair, king of the Romans, in 1125. In 1128 or 1129, again the scribes disagree, Lothair granted him the Duchy of Lower Lorraine. This, however, displeased Godfrey of Louvain, who believed the duchy his by right. The two men settled the matter not with reasoned discourse but with steel, meeting at the Battle of Wilde in 1129. Waleran prevailed, aided by Alexander, Bishop of Liège. The bishop's participation is well attested, though one wonders what business a prelate had on such a field. Waleran was a man who understood the shifting winds of imperial politics. When Conrad III rose to power in 1138, Waleran lent him support as well. By this time he held several titles: Duke of Limburg, Duke of Lower Lorraine, and Count of Arlon. Whether he exercised full authority over all these lands is another matter entirely, but the titles themselves are not in dispute. He married Jutta of Wassenberg, daughter of Gerard, Count of Gelders. Now I must pause here, for the chroniclers are maddeningly inconsistent about Gerard's dates and titles. You, future folk, insist that he became Count of Gelders in 1096. I shall take your word for it, though I would dearly like to know which manuscript you found that in. The couple produced several children, each of whom complicates the genealogical record in their own special fashion. Henry, the eldest, succeeded his father as Duke of Limburg, a rare case of straightforward succession. Gerhard married a lady named Elizabeth. They had a son, also named Gerhard, born around 1148, but I cannot confirm the exact year, for the scribes were apparently asleep at their desks. Beatrix of Limburg married Count Ruprecht of Nassau. From them descended Walram of Nassau, born around 1154. You future folk hinted, most unhelpfully, that the House of Nassau will one day rise to great prominence. I am not permitted to know how, only that it will. Another son, Walram, died in 1147. The chroniclers agree on little else about him. And lastly, a daughter whose name the scribes neglected to record. She married Ecbert, Count of Tecklenburg, and bore a son, Dietrich, who entered the clergy. I would very much like to know her name, but alas, the record keepers of the 12th century were not always attentive to such matters. Duke Waleran died in 1139. His life was marked by conflict, shifting alliances, and a perpetual struggle for authority that so defined the empire in his age. His descendants, particularly through the lines of Limburg and Nassau, would shape the politics of regions far beyond his imagining. And thus concludes our first lesson. If the future requires more such accounts, then I would suppose I must continue, though I would prefer a quiet afternoon with my manuscripts. This has been the 11th and 12th. Until next time.